change her gearbox oil? How many air cleaners did you buy? Personally, I buy an air cleaner every month. Yeah, so if for example I spend 20,000 every month, that means I spend 240,000 shillings every year on air cleaners alone. Well, it's both ways. My network is also not good, but it seems like also you guys, your network is not good. How much do you spend on your car annually, and is it worth it? There are people that will say, you know what, so is the money you spend on your car worth it, and how much is it every year? Let's share, guys. Let's share so that other people can also compare. Barabe over, they are overspending, over they are being ripped off, over they are spending very fairly. Let's share that. I'm going to be talking about some of the things that sure deal you'll work on at least once every year, regardless of where you live, and that probably if you don't work on them, you just haven't figured that they are faulty. She don't you want me. She don't you want me. But I tell her, yes I tell her. You don't give a damn, you don't dare. My number one girl, you rule my world. You took my heart, never be bad, but you made me big. You made me big. Every time I come over, you make me big. But why? But why? Give me some love, be my better half. I promise I will never let you down, my girl. Jewelry, dollar bills, many things don't mean nothing. For as long as you got my heart, heart. I ain't gonna jump in the back of my worry. So come on, you will lose your jack when taking it. I'll say yes, I'll say no, I'll say baby, let's take it slow. You want my number one girl, you know my world. You took my heart, never be bad, but you made me big. You made me big. Every time I come over, you make me big. But why? But why? But you never ever take what I'm saying. See, I need you. But you don't want to do over again. Rock my world, it goes around and round. I love you so, I need you so, I never leave you so. Can I tell you this every day, every night? That I really feel. But the Touareg is ugly. That's an ugly car. It almost looks like a Sienta. Well, it's bulged up and all, but I find the Touareg ugly. I also find the Tiguan ugly. I also find the Touran ugly. Just ugly cars. Like I find that the small Golfs, the Golfs look good, but then these big ones, I think they could have done better with design. Apart from the fact that someone just wants to drive an SUV, that car looks ugly. You see, it looks like a Vanguard, and the Vanguard is ugly. The RAV4 is more, it looks nicer than the Vanguard, but then the Kaudo looks better than the RAV4. But that thing there looks like now that I think about it, the Kaudo is also not that nice, especially when it grows old. But people,
How much money do you spend on your car annually? Gwe buli mwaka emotoka yo gisaamu sente mmeka? And is it worth it? And what do you spend on? Today is Lifestyle Wednesday, so we are talking about lifestyle issues. And njagala to exploring tomanya oyinza oborowooza you spend a lot of money on your car every year, naye ng'ate you are one of the people that spend the least. Okitegeera oba oyinza okulowooza nga you spend very little every year, naye nga you're one of the people that are overspending on your car. So how much do you spend every year on your car, and what do you spend on every year? There are things that you definitely spend on nga buli mwaka oba oyagala oba toyagala obisaamu sente, sometimes more, sometimes less. So what are some of those things? I'm going to be talking about some things that we regularly spend on, whether we like it or not. Nga buli mwaka, you know, at least okukisamu koka sente. And of course there are things that we can spend on for 2 years. And I'm also going to talk about the distances that people drive and what things that they find themselves having to repair because of a distance.
Time does not wait. Okay, man.
Yes, guys, we are talking about why? We are talking about the money we spend annually on our cars. How much do you spend on your car annually, and is it worth it? And what things do you spend money on? Now, depending on what distance you drive, I'm at photography. You spend 50k on your on water for your Futsubishi. 50k only. Tonywa mazi because personally I spend at least 2k on water every day, and that's not counting the water at my office, because at my office I drink like 2 liters at office. So I spend like 2k on water on average a day. That will give me 30,000 a month. That will give me about 360,000 every year spent on water only. If I spend on average 2,000 a day, there are days where I buy more water. There are days where I buy more water. There are days where I buy less water and all that. If I buy a new car, I only spend on fuel, service, washing, third party once a year. So how much do you spend on washing, Dorothy? How much do you spend on washing your car, and how often do you wash the car? Personally, I don't think I spend on washing. Like, I wash my own car. I use the detergent I use is the detergent that used to wash washrooms as well. So I don't think I spend time and energy, but I don't spend money. And yes, people are going to say time is money, but there are people that go home and at the time I'm washing the car, they are seated in the sitting room watching TV. Yeah. So how much do you spend on washing every year, Dorothy? How often do you wash the car? And how much do you spend on service every year? And how often do you service awobera? Njagala Mark tumusota oba Harrier all model. Zidi zitya eze motoka nnungi zombi. But if you have a big budget, buy the Harrier old model. Gula bibiri ya Harrier. The Mark tumusota should be for people whose budget is actually limited, yeah? It's one car that now I'm recommending for people. Go in a center, the Mark tumusota is there. So Dorothy, how much do you spend on those things? And for the rest of you guys, that are driving in Kampala, how much do you spend annually on your car, and what do you spend that money on, and how often do you do those things? So Dorothy is saying she spends 15,000 twice a week to wash, 50,000 per week on fuel, 180k on service once a year. Once a year. You service only once a year. Chitegeza, you don't really move, Dorothy. I service my car at least every 3 to 4 months, depending on what distances I do. And I spend 200 with this car. I spend 245 now. So that means I spend about, if I service every 3 months, that means I service 4 times. So I spend about $1 million shillings on service personally now with this car. And with fuel, I actually spend minimum a full tank of fuel every week, minimum. So, and my full tank will take 200,000. So that means I use about 800,000 on fuel every month. And I use about 8,800,000 shillings. No. That's the other one, 1.6. I use about 9,600,000 on fuel, and then I use about, let's say, 1 million shillings on service. So that means I use 10,600,000 on service and fuel alone annually. You get. And then I don't pay for washing. I wash my car myself. And then if I have to fix things, SPK driving school VIP, good morning. Ne ata nawulira okubara old modo. Sijikubangako. Gwe jigule. Gwe bobola bankube gwe jigule. Like, I've been having this conversation of the Raum old model for a very long time. And I thought that when I talk about this car, you guys actually go and talk to other people that have driven the car before. And everyone almost has the same things to say about the Raum old model. But you can try. And if you really want to buy it, there is someone that we went to inspect a car with, and he bought a Raum old model. He went back home and decided to buy a Raum old model. I don't know how that ended for him, but he went and bought a Raum old model. Personally, I would know to drive it. Even if it were given to me for free, I would not drive a Raum old model, because I know what comes after you after you own a Raum old model. So guys, personally, how much I spend, about $1 million shillings on service alone, and that's annual, and then about 9.6 on fuel. It actually grows. It can go more than 9.6 because there are times I use a full tank and a half. There are times I use 2 full tanks. You get, depending on what my movements are. I spend a lot on fuel. Now then someone would ask, but why would you spend all that money on fuel? I move a lot, and my car does work for me. So, and also I stay far away from town. So on average, I would spend about 10,600,000 on average. It goes higher than that on fuel and service for my car. Now, if it breaks down, or if I have to work on things like bushes or shock absorbers, then the cost for maintaining or for keeping my car on the road actually goes higher. So how much do you guys spend on your car annually? Muspending a sente meka ku moroka omwa buli mwaka. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth it? How much you spend on your car? Both fuel, washing, nga Dorothy watu gambye. So basically Dorothy spends about 80,000 shillings every week, yeah, on her car, and that means she spends 160 times 2. How much is that? That's 12. That's 320,000 every month on 320,000 every month on the car. That means she spends about 3 million. 3 million plus 600. That's about 3.8 million shillings every year on the car. If you add service, that's about 3.4 million shillings every year on her car, provided the car does not break down. She doesn't need to buy anything in that car. And then that you can add maintaining. You can add the cost of plus third party, which is about 60,000. So kata ogata mu emyaka jamala nga avuga emmotoka, how much she has to spend on the car. Talk about the cost of maintaining the Mark II Grand if I'm to use Kampala Kanungu twice a week. Kampala, where is Kanungu? How many kilometers? Good morning, Kalava. Something that I regularly repair at the Buzed. I have 9 kilometers, but I'm stretch. I move daily, then wash 10k a week, fuel 200k a month, service 200k annually, average 3 million. Harrison, if you do only 9 kilometers of Maram and you only use 200,000 of fuel a month, that's 50,000 a week. That means you don't move a lot. How do you drive your car? You're a bad driver. Because why would you be repairing Zs regularly? Like, I've driven this car for more than a year now. I've not repaired Zs, and I do 14 kilometers of Maram every day as a must. How do you repair the Zs regularly? What car do you drive? Stallone BK, good morning. Moses Sebwende, good morning. Moses Sebwende, Maka too young, you say that. You reach out to my inbox. I will post the price. I said it eventually when I post the pictures. The people that are serious about buying my Mark II Grand have reached out. It actually is not a Grand, the Mark II Musota. But Dorothy also has a Mark II Grand. She's selling at 16 million shillings. I think it's UBD. She's selling it at 16. So for the guys that are looking to buy the Mark II Grand, we already have a Mark II Grand that I inspected, and she has been driving it very well. You can buy that one as well. And then there is someone else that that he has a Mark II Grand. So, SPK Driving School has said that they do one service a year, 30,000 a month on washing, and about 250,000 on fuel a month. Okay, guys, the rest of you please share how much do you spend on your car every year, and is it worth it? Nobody has actually said it's worth it. Is it worth it? Obola bidaddala emmoroka terina kyekuyamba. Is it worth it? Igumba Jonathan, thank you. Made chibuzo nonya wetandikira okuchibuza. The people that spend 200k fuel a month on fuel, like, where do you go? Do you sometimes leave the cars at home and take borders? Because the moroke yange njivuga buli lunaku, and my car takes my kids to school, it moves Mama Urban to work, and then it also does inspections. So basically that sometimes I get fuel receipts, and the person that files the receipts nagamba, director nga mafuta steady nyo. So Iguma is asking you people that use 200k fuel a month, where do you go? Muvugira way yo. Guys, do you remember the person that Starch told us about afuna history and bamuze waka? When the chick heard that the guy is coming home, she's also home. Guys, temwesiba ku bantu. I'm telling you, tewesiba ku muntu. Tewesiba ku muntu. If you discover that someone takuli wanted the mogoti, now we tomuba wanted the mogoti. Ngomwesonyiwa. That's how life works these days. Ochitegere. If someone, but nange, why would you be getting hysteria? Of course, I understand matters of the heart are complicated, but if someone doesn't, is not interested in you at all, find a way of not being interested. So my question, consumption on a grand, 420. Okay, if you're going to do a Mark 2 grand, just calculate that it will give you between 10 to 12 kilometers per liter on the highway. Katao, you just get 848 kilometers divided by 10. That means you're going to be using about 84 kilometers. 84 liters. Am I right? I think I'm right. 84 liters of fuel. So 84 liters of fuel, if you do 100 times 5k, that would be 500,000, right? So kati obalanti ojja kwesanga emitwalo 300,000 every trip you get. But that also will include your driving habits. The one thing I realized as I was driving the Mark II Musota is that actually those cars don't consume a lot of fuel. Those cars don't consume a lot of fuel, but it's us who drive them, because I was driving the Mark II Musota like I don't drive this car. Like I step on it. So if you don't step on it in the Mark II Grand, you'll never feel like it consumes. Either the people that drive them, the Mark II brands normally don't feel their consumption. The same thing happens with Subaru. If you're driving a Subaru and you don't step on it like a Subaru, you step on it like a normal car, you'll never blow the engine, you'll never even feel the fuel consumption. Which take right? Nebo ojivuga obubi, boli nyanga go batumye nti waigenda ogirinnya ogimalemu omuliro. Then it's definitely going to show you how consumption is. So about 10 to 12 kilometers, Dorothy is saying that she drives less than 1 kilometer from home to work, and she uses client vehicles for field work most times, and church on Sunday is only 5 kilometers from home. Dorothy never drives anywhere because 1 kilometer is walking distance. I would be running there every day. I'd be running there every day. Dorothy is a planned worker. The planned workers walk 1 kilometer from home. Dorothy, SPK driving school, tell us, how do you use 200,000 only on fuel per month? And okay, also SPK driving school, something still doesn't add up. We have 4 weeks in a month. How the hell do you spend 30,000 on washing? Do you miss a week? Or whether is a week you bargain and they wash for you at 5k? At zero cost. Guys, we are talking about how much money do you spend? How much money do you spend on maintaining your car annually? And we have realized Dorothy and SPK driving school, these people spend about 4 million, not even 4 million a year on keeping their cars on the road. You get? Now, for Dorothy, now I understand why you would never even have to fix a car. If you drive on average 12 kilometers a week, if you drive on average 12 kilometers a week with your car, the car will never break down. Olabanza avuga 100 kilometers a day, my car doesn't break down. But I can only imagine you who does 12 kilometers a week, that's about 24 kilometers every 2 weeks. That's about 48 kilometers every month. And that's about 480 kilometers every 10 months. So about 500 kilometers a year. The 500 kilometers zovuga omwaka. Nzivuga Monday to Friday. Zivuga Monday to Friday is a kilometer. Ochitegeera. My God. So guys, how much do you spend annually on your car, and is it worth it? Guys, they don't ngenda kudduka neera. I want to feel alive more. You know what, running is hard, by the way, especially if you're running in one place like how I run, but I find that it also helps when you have good music to listen to. Like personally, I find that my energy levels work hand in hand with the music. If I'm listening to bad music, then my energy levels will be low. If wakule nume jibajiretedde no breakdown ngebe bikyali awo, wakule nume bajiretedde buli yeka down. So how much money do you spend? Ngenda basibula ku dakiika naze nyini ngene nziruke ddukemu. How much do you spend on your car annually, and is it worth it? Is it worth it? So guys, how much do you spend on your car annually? I'm actually wondering, for the people that I used to live in Kasangati, working in town, but still I did not use 200,000. I think I would ideally manual. That time that Mark 2 would take 10k a day, and I would move 5 days a week. That's 50k. Yeah. So that would literally be, and then Dorothy, if you live 1 kilometer away from your workplace, 50,000 is a lot of money on fuel. You're exaggerating. I think you spend about 10 to 20k every week on fuel. You're exaggerating your expenses. And it also makes sense that you service once a year, because you literally don't move. So how much do the rest of you guys spend on how much do you guys spend on fuel every How much you spend on maintaining your car, on keeping it on the road every year? Personally, ni million inga kumina. I think as this will come because there are months where I move a lot. There are weeks where I move a lot. Ngaka full tanka katono. Ngaka full tanka tekamara. So how much do the rest of you spend on keeping your car on the road? Let's share that so that the rest of the people can benchmark. For example, kati abantu abaspending emitwalo 5 mitwalo 6 ku mafuta per week but ansowulire obega SPK ne Dorothy baberawa. Guys, in Magic, I do pre-purchase inspection in case you're going to buy a car and you're looking. Kanina akagambo car nkogeranga mutabani wange omuto agamba car. So katinange kutekarange car. So guys, I'm Bajuksa. I do pre-purchase inspection in case you're buying a car and you need guidance. Inspiring in case you're buying a car and you need a guardian angel, someone to help you make the right decision, I'm your man. I charge 450,000, and what is my role is to make sure that you buy a good car in your budget. I come with the mechanic, and together, me, him, and you, we make sure that you don't get ripped off, and we make sure that your money gets spent in the right place. That money covers 1 day of inspection in the Kampala Central Business District. No problem. That's true. I drive for like 2 years without any threats on my car. Sometimes I visit the garage just to check it. So Dorothy, are there times when you go to your garage just to see if it died and you didn't know? Nange manyok sumule moroka yange wano. Nenji sumula bakebereko nganda banjivuze nze moroka yange njikarakata nnyo. Kati olumu nkarakate moroka nengamba naye. Isn't there a chance that the bushes are dead? Bagenda okusumulanga nnamu. Kireka nvuga bulungi. Arthur, I agree with you about driving habits. I switched from a Primo to a Harrier Kawondo, but I never step on it, and I haven't noticed any significant fuel increase. Exactly, guys. It doesn't. Personally, I find that the big cars tempt us to step on it, and when we step on it, we spend a lot on fuel. Watch together. John Webs is saying, I do about 35 kilometers daily with a full tank of fuel. 230 takes me for about 2 weeks. Service like twice a year at 100. No. You guys, you're lying. You cannot do service twice a year if you're doing 35 kilometers daily. You're cheating your car. Where is my other phone? I want to do some mathematics here. Some of you guys are cheating your cars. Let me see. Where is that? My guy, someone stole my second phone. Okay, I've not touched it for like 2 days. Where did I put it? Okay, I also have a lot of stuff in my bag. And power banks, mouses. Where is the other phone? Here it is. Here it is. Okay, let me see. I did not switch it on. I wanted to do some mathematics for WEPs. You're lying. 35 kilometers a week, a day. That's about 350 kilometers every 10 days. That's about 700 kilometers every 2 weeks. So that's about 1,400 kilometers every month. Plus jam, which take 12K washing per week. Oh, you guys, how do you wash your car only once a week, you people? I tell you, SP car user only 3 times a month. Juma Ali, good morning. Let's see. Eric Chisitu Chechiriwo, Dennis Mawanda Chechiro, Zach Bariesima. How can you service your car twice a year? That nange nebuza. How do you service your car twice a year? But it's possible, by the way. For WEPs, it should be about 3 times a year. It should be about 3 times a year. But 2 times can also be bearable. Like, do you check your oil to see how it looks? Because oil, me, I get oil out of my Kanga, it's still clean. When, like, there are times I've gotten oil out of my car and someone wanted to take it to put it in their car. That's how good the oil in my car is. Guys, let me tell you what I spend on every year. First, I spend Kangateno Gatawan. in a simu calculator. Yes, it has a calculator. I spend, let's say, about 250,000 every week on fuel. Times 4, that's 1 million shillings. So I spend about 12 million shillings on fuel annually. And then I service my car about 4 times a year. I spend, my average is 250,000. So I spend another 1 million shillings on service. That's about 13 million shillings. And then I want to say that at least twice a year, a mechanic will take 50,000 from me for just checking the car once a year. And then I spend about 200,000 every year on working on the suspension once a year. And then I spend about 300,000 on shock absorbers. So that's 13 million shillings. That's 13. That's fuel plus service, plus about, let's say, 50,000 kuchekinga, plus about 200,000 working on the suspension, plus 300,000 on the shock absorbers. I want to say I will buy at least a mounting every year. That's about 200,000. What else? Coolant and all those things. That's about 14 million shillings every year on my car. And that's me. I drive my car every day. I drive my car everywhere. Now, what makes this worth it for me to spend on my car 14 million shillings? My car takes my kids to school. I have 2 kids. How much do you spend on a shuttle on average every term? Every term you spend about, how much do you guys spend on shuttles every term? After 2 months, I do service for my car at 3,000 kilometers. Where with the AC? AC doesn't get refilled, Peter Rubega. AC doesn't get refilled. AC is okay. Servicing twice is possible if one does service for 10,000. Hey, yeah. AC doesn't get serviced. Oh yes, air cleaners. So my personally, I buy my air cleaners at 15,000. 15,000 in front, 15,000 here, that's 30,000. But I change only the front air cleaners once a month. That's about 180,000. Bozigata kwera checho nchasigara mu million nya. Mu million 14. So mbadde ngamba how much we have one car currently that we drive around. Of course, the Maktum Sotana is also here, but that one I'm going to be driving it once every week. I don't know. I think I'll be driving it. I'll be taking it home on Friday evenings. Go to Kora broadcast is already good. So is it you guys experience the express in a strong machine, and then coming back with it on Saturday. The rest of the days I'll be this car. And of course, on days that Mama Aban has to run her errands, she can take this car and I take my Musota. But why do I feel like 14 million shillings is okay? Because I know people that spend about 600,000 per child on shuttle. I have 2 kids. That would mean I spend about 1.2 per term times 3 terms, which would mean I would be spending 3.6. Now, jako 3.6 is a shuttle. Obosigaza million 10 nga neemu nezigwamu. Now, personally, it takes me to work. It takes Mama Aban to work. That's still the same amount. Zetutaddemu ezo ezitwala ku mulimu fembi. Okitegeera. So let's just imagine, and we both don't work near home. So even if we were to use public means, ewaffe taxi ya nusu kakaga. Very inconveniencing though. Times 2, that would mean gumubiri. Times 5, that would mean mutwalo mukaga. Times 4, that would mean 240. Times 12, that would mean 2.8 million shillings. So let's just say omuntu omu yavuze moro kumula nalinya jako 2.8 from one person. Let's imagine nange nkwesiza 2.8. That would be 2.8 times 2, that would mean 5.7. Tujeko ziri zibadde meke eza shuttle. Eza shuttle zibadde this is 5.7. Tugambe shuttle ebadde 1.2 times 3, 3.6 plus 5.7. that would be 9,300,000 shillings. Nga tukozeseza public means nga n'abaana bakozeseza shuttle. Now, what other convenience comes with this car? I do my live broadcasts every day. My live broadcasts help me earn some money. Ontegedde. What other convenience comes with this car? My kids move nga bebase kigegete yebakikamu. What other convenience comes with this car? We can move anytime we want. What other convenience comes with this car? Tutambule ndabula muziri waggulu nga tuli mu AC. Now, if we had used public means, fenna n'abaana nga bagenda na shuttle, would be using 9.3. Bujjako 14 million shillings. Kitegeeza we invest an extra 4.7 million shillings in moving around. Okitegeera. But in moving around in our car, oyina okubeera ne risk zetugobawo zetujjawo, and this is every day. Nze buli wamu nvugawo, if owesisobola vuga ntambulawo. If I wanted to go to William Street, for example, to buy something that I use in my production, I would drive there, or I'll get someone to drive me there naninda. Ontegeera. And then I come out of the shop, enter the car, nenkomawo. That's how addicted I am to the car, and I'm going to continue being addicted. Guys, Kamba sibling in Enzil, okay? Thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Bulwobango spending a cent ku moroka yo. You need to ask yourself, is this worth it? And then why this is totally worth it? Tubaze sendeza gula moroka. Tubazeza keeping it on the road. Just keeping it on the what? On the road, which is why it's important that you buy a car where you can actually get your money, at least 80% of the value out of that car. And if you can't, baranti moroka ekolera sente, zene ekolera sente. Enekola sente. How many inspections did it do in the last year? This one. Chiraika yakola twina weeks imeka mu mwaka. Every week, but on average every week I did an inspection in this car. So this car actually bought the fuel itself. It bought the fuel itself. So that's why normally we used to do a broadcast when I get how you can earn money from your car nga bogikozesa okisegeera. Kale Chemanya, I've made sense. Lawrence Omuli, Hashim, Muyombia, Mark, Karota, Uganda, Louis, Rashid Jagina. The guys that are in Kamoli, I don't take it for granted. Thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Chamade Hannington, Kasidia David, Ben Kako, George Bob Chairman, Zach Paul, Sema VIP, Travel Live Vlog, Nsereko Starch, Kasenya Yasin, Muyombia, Mark, George Senkubugi, Ramat Photography, Entire Samuel, Mikel UG, Rama Charity Organization, Danny Oken, Albino Olak, Dorothy Namfuka, Wafula Meshak, Viola Namiro, mwe Dorothy atunda Mark 2 grand 16 million shillings eri ku UBD mpya bupya. Moses Sebwende, SPK Driving School VIP Kanyanya, oyali Kanyanya nga kugazi genda akufunire permit akuyigiza okuvuga emmoroka. Natuha Bailon, Harrison Muhindo, Wabuyi Nelson, Igumba Jonathan, Nsereko Starch, Juma Ali, John Webbs, Akalija Gerald, Kama Godwin, Zach Baliesima, Dennis Mawanda, Eric Chisitu, Peter Lubega, Senchinga S. Nicodemus, Nakate Christine, Tazan Ali. Guys, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. I'll see you tomorrow, Random Car Talk Thursday. Don't forget to tell people about this channel. Don't forget to tell people about the pre-purchase inspection service. It's how we keep this thing going. Tukosa GBB nobody nakuwemula bawano. So the inspections help us to keep going. Tusigale nga tukyakubba ekintu kino nga tukitwala mu maaso. Tutuuke tu upgrading enesimu tuve ku S22 tugende ku S25 naro mwe bagayi bamakoleka gofani musonde S25 naye matumwe temusonderako ddala mwagaana okusonda ano bannalinoonya ddi essimu buli omu n'asirikireyo gyali Dr. Kasule Matiya, good morning and bye bye. Mwe tusobole n'oku upgrading esimu tugende ku S25 tulabe bwekola oba tugende ku iPhone kyeriko 20. Guys, have a very lovely Wednesday. Ciao.